Welcome back to LivAnimated.com. Let's learn something new. Last time we left off, we were working with creating our rig for our character. What we're going to work on now is skinning the character to the rig and making sure that the envelopes for the vertices onto the bones match, meaning that when we start moving our character around, we'll get the desired look from our poses. We'll also do a range of motion test, and then we'll save that animation out so we can use it as a reference for when we start to move the character around and see if the bends at the joints are as desired. So let's just jump right into it. Let's go back into opening up our last file that we were working on. So have Maya open, navigate to where the last file was that we were working on. And I was number 18. So we're going to open that file up. Hopefully you've gone through a few times and have gotten a little used to setting up the rig. If you haven't, that's not a problem. As long as you're following along, you should be good to go. So we are opening up our file. Everything should load in as intended. You may or may not have had your layers hidden when we were last working on it, but if it is hidden, just unhide everything. The face controllers will still be there. What we're going to do now is go to the next step of this. So what you'll see is your toolbox on the right side is going to be gone. So we're going to go back up to the ARTv2 icon on the start bar up here. And we're going to click on Create Rig. Once we click on Create Rig, it's going to bring back up our toolbox. And what we want to do is finalize setup. Everything should be good to go. But before you finalize setup, we want to go and click on Bake the Offset Mover Values to the Glow Movers. So we want to do that first. So all you need to do is click it and select all and then Bake Offsets. That makes sure that everything is like pretty much zeroed out from what you've done to it and doesn't have any weird values or anything to it. Once that's done, close the box and then go to Finalize Setup. I'm going to click through these quick. You can read them as they come up, but for what we normally do in the process is, we already clicked this button, so we can click continue. This is just warning you that you need to, click that. We don't want to use proxy geometry getting weighted to it. We don't need to do that. So usually click no. And then this one's asking about skinning the weight geometry to the actual joints. Yes. And then you want to pick what you want to skin to it. So currently what you see, if you're using the same model, I went through and took this model and made it one single mesh. What I didn't do was I didn't put the clothes on it as a part of its mesh. I want to skin that separately, just so I have some variation of if I want to use them or not use them. So right now, we're just going to select the female base mesh and not the underwear. So you just want the female base mesh, and then you want to click and then shift click to select everything. We're going to say these are the controllers we want to smooth bind to. We want to set our max influences to 3. 3 is like the default, like the minimum that you'll use. Back in the day, 3 was like the maximum that you could use. But using Unreal Engine, depending on your output and what you're using it for, I think Unreal now can do 8 verts per joint. It's still not ideal to do 8 verts per joint. Depending, if you're doing mobile or if you're doing anything other than cinematic type stuff, it's not going to matter. So we're going to do 3 just to get in, stay in the routine of doing 3. You never really need to do more than that unless you're working with a very dense mesh. And in that case, you will want it to be, higher than 3, because when you talk about doing deformations for the face and the joints, like the shoulder area, the hip area, and more of that crotch area in the front, those are going to give you problems only because there's so much detail that's usually there with the topology, and so you're going to want to have more verts that you can put towards joints so you can blend it out even smoother. So we're going to keep it on 3. If you look back at the the window box here, we have our character selected. It has a black outline around it, and then we have our joint selected, and we want to click Smooth Bind. That should only have taken like a second. What it does is it takes the vertices and whatever the closest joint is to it, it just binds it to that, and then it does a envelope type setup where it'll start to base. If it's in between certain joints, it'll do like a 0.5, but it ranges all the way from 0 to all the way through the tens, like decimal point, the tens, going all the way to like 1. So it'll just blend it around whatever it is, but it won't do any more than 3 joints in the surrounding area. So now you can click close. So what we can do here to test it and see how things look is we can select the joints. Let me see, make sure my joints are turned on. So you can go up here. What this does is you can make a selection set. And so like they have like different types of selectable objects. So we just want to select joints right here. And so if we select our joints, let me see if we can go here. So here's our joint that we want to select. We want to go to rotation, and you can start rotating things out. And you can see how it's all messed up and everything, but that's what we're going to fix right now. But as you can see, everything is set up not too bad, right? So what we want to do is we want to go in and we want to take our mesh and weight our mesh to be better formed to the joints. The way you can do that with the tool that they provide under the rig creator is this first default is when you select your mesh. You gotta turn this back on. So I might as well just put it back on, select all or make all selectable again. Select your mesh, and then you'll get options under here of the skin joints or what you can do. What you're gonna want to do to start this is right click on the mesh, and then go to right click and hold, and then go to vertex. So now you can select some vertices, and over here in the channel box it'll show you the joints that these vertices are actually weighted to and what their weight values are. So you can go and use this, or you can go and use the component editor. What we are going to do first is we're going to use this, which is like using the component editor, but we're going to use this first in order to get the desired joints where they should be. So for example, if you're taking your forearm and you know at a certain distance from the wrist down to the elbow, you want all that to be on the forearm. We're going to weight it there. Yes, I think we have some twist bones, but if you did not add twist bones, we can still get certain rotations out of weighting from the hand to the wrist and to the elbow going to the shoulder joint. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Again, we're using like a normal rig setup for the body, nothing too crazy for this, because our goal is to make sure we can get the deformation how we need. With the lobe topology of this character, I don't think we'll need twist bone in there if one is not already in there. I think one is in there by default. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start at the extremities. That's the best way to start skinning your character. Work your way from the outer part. So an example, from the toes all the way through the foot, ankle area, calf, leg, and then work yourself back up to this torso area. We're going to quickly lay that out first. Then we're going to go in and paint. We're going to do our range of motion. And then from our range of motion, we're going to do our paint weights. And that's where we can go in and start blending the knees. You can do that all by hand as well. But, it's good to learn both types. And I think the way I'm going to show you how to paint weights in here for this topology of a character is going to be better for you to grab. A lot of people use paint weights right off the bat. And usually that's ideal when you're working with like a very dense mesh, because you're going to go crazy trying to, pick every vert and put it where it needs to be. Unless you just got time on your hands and you want to do that. That's not normally what people do when the mesh is super dense. So let's get started. So let's start. Sometimes you can mirror it, but we're going to do both sides independently just because it's good practice. So what we're going to do is we want to select these verts on the toe. So we'll go to vertice. Okay, so why did that happen? That happened because we can select our joint as well as the mesh. And the priority is the joints, I believe, for some reason. And it'll select the joint over the vertices. So what we want to do is we can go in and we can actually hide our joints because we just need to worry about the mesh right now. Then go back to vertices. And then select the vertices you want. And there you go. How did I hide the joints? You go to show right here. And there's a joints icon or a label or whatever, and you can just toggle it on and off. All right. So you can hit F to focus. Just want to make sure we grabbed everything we want to grab. We don't need this, so I'm just gonna unselect that. Unselect by shift clicking. Whatever is selected, you can unselect. I think I want to take these off too because of how the topology looks down here. It looks like it should go across, but it doesn't, and they probably did that just to save on some verts. So we're gonna leave those off and just worry about having it go here for now. And we'll just use this as like a blending, this next row of segments. I just don't want it to go too far into the foot right now. So we're gonna put those. Right now you can see out of all the ones we selected, they are on the root, which should be 0. Everything should be 0 on the root. Like we should just select everything right now and do that, but that's what we're gonna do, actually. We don't want anything onto our root, and it's just gonna cause problems as you get more into the nitty-gritty of the actual file. So select everything. It's gonna show a bunch of stuff over here. Go to where it says root. There should be root in this list somewhere. Or you can select root here and then hit 0. And that should now make it where there is no root in this list. So then just check this list again to see if there's any root in here. And there shouldn't be. And you're good to go. So if we select those again on the foot, root shouldn't show up on those joints. So let's try that again. Yeah, sometimes I start and I don't do the root, and then I start kicking myself because I'm like, why is this moving when I move the arm? The root is affecting it. Duh. All right, let's take the root off at that point. And then what you'll have is, because the root was affecting some of the deformation or some of the influence, that influence is going to get spread back out over the other joints. And most times it'll get spread out and it'll still be incorrect because now it's not what you set it for. It's like interpolating what those new values would have been, which is not good. So we have our selection. It looks good. We're going to go and see the root is not on here anymore. This is the ball of the foot. So we want to go, we want to select our ball joint, and we can go to ball R right here, and we're going to turn that to 1. So now it's on 1. Select it in the skin joints, select the number you want as the value, and then you'll see the skin vertex info down here. So that's good to go. So now we're going to do is we're going to do the ankle next. And why we're doing this is because we're putting a hard number on the areas of the mesh to go to the joints, which is super fast to do as opposed to if you're trying to paint it by default, because you're going to get these weird values to start. We only want to paint when we start doing our range of motion and seeing like, ooh, we need this to blend better, right? So let's select our next set of vertices and just kind of remember what you had selected before so you don't select it again. We want to add these to this one. Let's go back here, start selecting some of the heel. You want to zoom in and out and just grab stuff. Sometimes when you select stuff, it'll deselect vertices that you already had selected. So you just got to go back and make sure that you're selecting everything, or you have everything selected that you want. You might want to turn this to the transform gizmo so it's not in the way of you selecting anything. All right, that looks good. I think I'll leave it like that, because then we know our blending will be at this row of verts right here, and this row of verts will be to the calf joint. So So just give it another once over. You can also turn your grid off by clicking this icon up here. All right, it looks good. Looks like I have everything selected. Once you have that selected, then you go back over here. See, there's no root on here. There would have been a root. But you see, this is already kind of blended in between, you know, what's affecting the ball of the foot, which is probably these right here, these 3 rows a little bit. Foot R, which is this whole thing. And then you have calf R, which is the influences of these are probably being affected up here. We just want this on the foot. So we're going to go foot R, and we're going to go 1. Boop. There we go. All right, so now we're going to do our calf. So let's get this first row selected. And then we want the calf to stop right below the knee. So just give this another once over. Make sure you got everything selected. All right, so we want to select this row as well. And these rows we're going to blend. So you could add this row to it just for safety because we know we're going to blend it from this point. This will at least, you know, give us that default value of these vertices going to 1 first instead of it everything being like kind of 50-50 between the two. And so we want all these to go to the calf. But see this? Now this is where it gets crazy. If you're trying to paint weights on here, you'd have a nightmare because you'd see the other leg is pulling it once you did your range of motion. But trying to like use the paint weight to zero out that, it just gets messy. It gets really messy. So doing it this way first is ideal because you can just do huge groups of verts and go, I want you here, I want you there, I want you here. So we'll do, this is our right leg, so it's calf R. So we'll do calf R, and then we'll do 1. All right. We'll do the upper leg. Well, let's do the center one actually. Oh yeah, nice. All right, so it's only in the front. So for this, let's do half and half for this one. So we'll do thigh R and calf R. So we'll do thigh R is 1, and then select calf R, and we'll do 0.5. So they're both 0.5 now, which is good. That'll be a good start for that. And then now we want to just select everything for the upper leg, the thigh. So we're going to need to select a few more. We're going to go all the way to the bottom of the butt cheek, and we'll just keep that all with the leg. And then when we do our blending, we'll blend that into the buttocks of the character instead of, you know, doing this whole part and going like, oh, this is a part of the hip or a part of the thigh, right? Because in the front, you know, your thigh is all up here. We're probably going to stop it right on this row of segments, and then we'll do our blending of pelvis and thigh when we get to that part. Overdoing it is just, it's going to just make it harder to work with. All right, make sure you check your verts. That looks pretty good. And you can see this one's all grouped all crazy too. We want this to go to our right thigh. All right, so let's do the other leg. Same exact thing. And this is good practice by doing it like this. You'll get used to it. And the whole thing with this is just speed. The more you do it, the faster you get, the more you'll notice things, and the better you'll get at it. So we want this to be our left ball of the foot, and then you just click left ball over here. And then 1. All right, let's keep moving up the foot. Now I'm just selecting all the verts once again. Just gonna go and select them. Oh, select them manually because I already made one selection group. Yeah, if you select it using the marquee tool, you will be selecting everything behind it as well. So you got to be careful of that. That's why I was trying to have the foot kind of in the view when I was doing my selection. You can see how the topology is split up right here. This is almost like the knee area. This is where we're gonna want to blend it. This a little bit too. This a little bit too, but this is where we're gonna want to do like the most of our blending, because as you can see with the texture, like that ankle little knob area right here, that's where the pivot's gonna happen. So it looks like I have everything selected. This is going to be our foot. So foot L1. Now we are going to do our left calf. We want that selection set to be just as high as the other one on the right leg. So we're gonna go right to the bottom of the leg, which is going to be up 2 more segment rows. So these 2 we get to keep. And double check your selection. Make sure your selection is exactly what you want it to be. Again, you can hit F to go around the selected area. I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave out any verts. That looks good. So we want this to be our left calf. And doing this totally eliminates the issue of the leg spreading. So when we do our range of motion, we won't be like, ew, why is the leg stretching? What's doing that? You know? This just makes it cleaner for us to make our range of motion better. And your range of motion is your ROM is going to be just some quick poses to bend knees, bend the elbows, stretch the spine, move things around, move the head around, just to see how things are skinned. And then while they're in those poses, you start blending the skinning or the weighting to be a little bit better. So this is going to be calf. We'll do 1, and then thigh. This is where we do our 0.5 for our kneecap. And now we want to select everything above this, and we want to put this all to the thigh. Just make sure you grab all your verts. I think we have to go up 1 more. Yeah, we're going to go up 1 more right under the butt cheek. There's going to be a little bit of nudity in here on this one because I'm going to remove her clothes. I kind of have to make sure that I'm doing this right. So I think I will have to mark this as some nudity. But it's not sexual in any way. It's just so we can see our model. And she won't have her clothes on, so I think I have to do that to flag it. But for now, I'm going to do everything I can before that, just so she's not just butt naked on the screen. No point in that. All right, looks good. So then we're going to put this one at left thigh, 1. All right, let's go back to, let's do the pelvis real quick. I think we can do that with, yeah, I'm gonna have to take her clothes off anyway. So let me just do that right quick. So this is clothes. You can select the clothes and hit H. All right, so we select the clothes and hit H, and that hides them. You can also go back and hit H again, it'll unhide them. So we need to go back to vertices, our vertex level. And so now we want to make the selection sets from where we were last and put all this to the pelvis. So we want to go from like right here all the way down to here. And now we need to just deselect these verts from the front of the thigh on both legs. All right, so we have all that selected. The front should be selected too. Yeah, we need to deselect. We need to deselect this. We're gonna have to do some blending for this row right here, but because this character has such defined hip line, you're gonna want this to the pelvis to start, and then when you blend, you want to make sure you can maintain some of that for the character. So this is all gonna go to, see, it's all split in between a little bit of the spine, a little bit of the pelvis, and the thigh on both sides. So we want all of this to just go to the pelvis for now, and so we're gonna go pelvis 1. All right. Now we're going to work on the arms. We can put this back on like that for now. C. Turn that off. We're gonna work on the fingers now. Let me get some water right quick. So we're gonna work on the fingers. You want to start at the tip of each finger first. Work your way up to the hand. So we're gonna do each digit first, and then do the hand, and then from the hand go all the way up to forearm, and then upper arm, and then clavicle, and then do the other side and do those arms as well. For the head, even though we have all those controllers in there, for now we're just going to select all the hair and the head vertices and put them to the head bone. We'll do more polish on that once we get to the polish phase of doing skinning and painting weights. But right now, we don't want to focus on that. That's going to take a lot of time up. We want to just get our character where we can make sure it's working and get our range of motion started. When we do range of motion for the face, skin, the face is going to be a totally different thing. It might even be a different video because of how long this is actually going to take going through this. So let's start with the fingers. So we know where our joints are, where we want to bend. The hands have some pretty nice topology already laid out on it, but we're going to just be creative with our blending, because you can see the pink areas here are where those knuckles are, which is where these points right here on our hands, like this, and this, that's what these pink areas are here on the hand from the texture. So that's a good guide of, you know, what area you should be blending. So another thing you can do here is you can select like this, hit F, select all those, and then you can do a shift period, and it'll creep up the finger. And so there's your selection, your group right there of what you want to select. So you can take that selection and just do the same thing. So this is going to be our right hand, our right index, and it's going to be our proximal, I think, is up here at the top. So we're going to take this one, we're going to go 1 for here. 1. And then what we want to do is, now you can't really use that tool again unless you just deselect what you selected first. But it's not that big a deal. We should be able to select what we need if we just select them. So we got all these. I think we need one more row. Even though this row, I believe, is going to be the row we're going to blend. Make sure you rotate around in 3D space to make sure you have the whole finger. So we're going to add this whole thing to the middle, index middle. And now we want this row and the next one up. So make sure you select these carefully. We want this all to go to the proximal, which is the upper joint. This is going to be blended, and then this part's going to be blended right here too. But for now, we'll just put it to our index finger. We also want, because like I told you before, where the hand actually bends, we're going to want to see they made the knuckle joints right here. What I was telling you about on this part of the hand, because you know when your hand bends, it bends here. It doesn't bend right where that little web area is. You know, it doesn't bend right there. It bends down further. So we're gonna want to bend this hand a little bit more, but you can see what I'm talking about. They put a row here that I wish they would have continued it on, but we will just we'll leave it like this. We just know that we'll blend this. I don't want this to be a hard 100 because when you bend the hand, it's gonna look broken. And the whole goal of this is to make it not look as broken. So all this goes to the index proximal. All right, so now we do the next thing, middle finger, same thing. You can make your selection set just to get started. Shift period. This is going to be our right middle finger. Ooh, look at that. I did left instead of right. See? I was like, because I kept thinking like, I don't remember it looking like it was the right. So what we can do here, since we already laid this out, it's gonna think the left one over there is selected too, but just go back and redo this right quick. Yeah, see I did left. This is the right hand. If you zoom out, this is the right side of the body. So yeah, always double check your work, because you would bend the hand and be like, oh my God, why is this not working? I was sitting here like, I don't remember it. I don't remember checking if it was the R at the bottom. So here you go, 1, 1. But it's quick. It's quick. You know, once you find mistakes, just fix them. It'll make things so much smoother down the line, and it'll be easy to fix right now, as opposed to when you're halfway done and you're like, trying to figure out what could be the problem. Index middle. And then we did these last two. But it happens, you know, that type of mistake happens. All right, so now this goes to here. Good. All right, done, fixed. Now we can continue on with what we were doing. So this is middle R. Middle R, I think we stopped here. All right. So we want to go from here on up. Yeah, that doesn't do what I think it is. I was trying to do a ring selection, but we'll just select it like this. It's probably better to just do it manually anyway. Everything is such tight spaces over here. Let's grab one more. Let's grab this one too. This one goes to a middle R. All right, and now we just want to select this upper ring right here. I have to get some more water. I'm licking my lips too much. My lips gonna be dry and crusty by the time this is done. We don't want that. So let's just keep going with this. Even though we're gonna blend these in between the fingers, let's just select the middle one and the one next to it and just continue down that line, like that train of thought. All right, and so we want that one to be middle proximal. All right, let's do our ring finger. And you just follow along with this. This is how you skin. This is how you skin a character. Back in the day, this was kind of the only option. You didn't really have options to paint weights with the robust paint tools like how they are now. You just had to do everything like by hand like this. And then if you go way, way back in the day when it was all just NURBS modeling, you didn't even do that. You just made your NURBS and you just linked them, or not even linking. You just hierarchically chose a parent and a child, and then that you didn't even have bones yet. You know, I remember when I started, there were no bones yet that you could use for characters. That was back in the Alias Wavefront days, which got turned into Maya. That was before Maya even existed as a software. All right, so now we're doing our ring finger, and we go middle, and you want that all in the middle joint of the ring finger, and then we'll do the upper parts of the ring finger. While we're looking at the front, we'll just grab these now. Look at the other side of the hand. And I know it can be a little disorienting at first once you start moving around the character like this, but you will get used to it. Moving around in 3D space, it becomes easy after a while to maintain focus on what you're looking at. Yes, we did do the metacarpals. That's true. So when we get ready to do the hand, we're going to want like this row and a little bit of that row to be blended to the joint here, and then this row, the one underneath it, and a little bit of this one to be blended to this one, so we can get what we added that joint for, so we can get this motion. If you remember in the video before, is so you can get this part, these two joints right here, to be able to curl them over like this, like when you look at it, so your hand isn't always like flat, like that. You can actually get this rotation to be like that, which is great for grabbing things, gripping things. It'll make it a lot more believable for the hand animation. So it's a good thing. So we have all these selected, and we want this to be ring proximal. And now let's do our pinky finger. See, it's going by pretty quick. It doesn't take that long. It only takes longer depending on if you start with painting weights first, because it's like opening a can of worms and then pouring the can of worms on the table with all the slime and everything with it, and then trying to sort everything out. You still got a mess on your hands, you know. All right, let's select our next set. That's good. All right, now select these joints up here, or these these vertices. I need to select these verts too, so I'm gonna go back and see what those are set to. But this should be the ring, or this should be the pinky proximal. All right, so let's go back here. I think we need to, what is this set to? Yeah, see, we don't want that like that. Let's set this to pinky proximal. This and this, let's set that to ring proximal. This should be middle proximal. This. All right, so that one's already selected. All right, good. Down to index. All right. Let's do our thumb, and then we'll move on to the hand. And then we'll move all the way up the rest of the right arm, and then go to the left arm. So same thing here. Thumb is a little different than the rest of the fingers, but you should still be able to see with how the topology is laid out. Hopefully on your model, if you're using a different one, you should still be able to see where the bend would happen, and that's what you want to use as your guide. So this is our thumb. Make sure you're in the right or left thumb area, depending on which side you started on. But we're on our right thumb, so it's this bone right here, and we'll do one right there. The next one is we'll do a selection set of these verts. And I want to do one more ring around this area. So we want to grab this ring as well. We're going to probably blend a little bit of that, but it's better to just grab it off the bat. So when you start bending the thumb around, you can see what it's actually doing. All right, and that's going to go to the proximal. And then the rest of this is actually going to go to the metacarpal for the thumb, because that's all what this is right here, this joint. We just did this joint, which is actually very limited, and then this joint, which gives you your full range of motion for the thumb. That's what this one is right here that we're about to do. So this is not going to be a part of the hand per se. It's going to be a part of the metacarpal. Yeah, we're going to want this. Let's just grab all this right here. This too. And then it moves all of this right here around. Let me look. I'm trying to see the back of the hand. If you look at how your thumb moves from the back of the hand, you can see that line from your hand goes like a straight line come up this way when you have your thumb in. When your thumb is out, you can see how it does it. So I'm trying to look at the topology of the mesh to see if I bend the thumb, where does that start and stop? And it's right here on this line, but it could be like right here on this line, which means we're going to have to do some blending from that area. So right now, I'm just going to leave that area out how it is, and we'll take care of that when we do our blending. But I do want to add this to it. All right, and so that's going to get added to the metacarpal. So now for the hand, we are going to want to add everything else that we didn't to that area. So we can just do a selection set like this, like this, like that, like that. We can grab these. And we can grab this row right here as well. This row is going to get blended, but I don't mind grabbing this for the hand. These we should actually add to the proximal joints for the middle finger and the ring finger. But let's see if we got everything we wanted for the hand first. We can take this off. This is creeping up too much close to the wrist. We're going to blend into that, but we don't need to have that as a part of our selection set to start. This we have to the thumb proximal, so that's fine. We could just put this to the hand for now, keep it consistent. And then what we'll do is when we go back to our polish, I'll do the front too. We'll go back to our polish, we'll actually just blend that because we're going to blend it anyway. So once you have everything for the hand selected, should be good to go. I think I have these right here. I think I have those as a part of thumb, but we'll double check that. Let's put this to the hand first. So this is our right hand, and then we'll just do 1. All right, let's look at these real quick. Did I place these? Yep. All right, good. So now we'll do our forearm. Do we have a twist bone? We do not have a twist bone, it looks like. We do not. There is an option here to add a twist bone if you would like. So by all means, you know, add whatever joints you see fit based on the topology of your character. So again, we want to go all the way up to right here where the elbow would bend. Right here actually. This is where the weenus, that's what it's called, this skin back here. You can see it has this divide. That's where you're going to bend, which means we want our lower arm selection set to be right here. And then just make sure you have everything selected that you want. I'm just rotating around my selection. Looks pretty good. Okay. And so now that's going to go to our right lower arm. So 1. And now we want to, we can do the same thing we did for the knee. Let's just grab this and let's make this a 50-50 for lower arm and upper arm. So we'll go upper arm 1, lower arm 0.5. I mean, with how low poly this is, we may not even need to get into painting, but I just want to do it to show you. But man, we could do this. I mean, maybe I could do another character that's more high poly and then do the painting on there, because I think with painting on this is just it's gonna be overkill. And I can just do it by hand, but we'll see. When we get to that point, we'll look at it again and see what would be the easiest thing to do for this, because with it being as low poly as it is, we will be able to do it a lot faster by not painting and just doing the values by hand. So make sure you have all the verts selected. We're gonna go all the way up the arm to the base of where the shoulder cap would be. We have one selected, we don't need selected. So from these 3, we're good to go. We are going to, oops, didn't want to tessellate, undo that. We're gonna go to like right here, this row of segments for upper arm. And then we're gonna blend this row, and this row, and a little bit of that row. So like what I said was we're gonna go from here on over. And you can make your selection set again down like this. And then just rotate around, make sure you got everything selected. All right. Now that we have everything selected here, we're going to add this to our upper arm, our right upper arm. Right here, right upper arm. 1. right, cool. We can do, since we're here, we can do the head right now too. So let's select everything for the hair. So select one vert and then do the shift period just a few times. Also select the verts on the strands of hair, which we will look into converting to be a dynamic mesh once we're in Unreal, so that we can get some nice secondary motion on those from the head motion alone, and we won't have to do it by hand. We won't have to add joints to it because that's just going to make it crazy. All right, so you can see this one's all to everything. And this is why we want to zero this out, because you see it has so many joints. And this is how it's going to be when we get into the face controls. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare at first glance. But, you know, if we think about it in a logical way of how we want to start it, we'll be fine. So let's look for our head joint right here. 1. So now let's just make sure we got everything. For this, we want to grab all of this. Best way to do that, let's just click drag, and then we're going to go all the way underneath like that. We want to deselect these. Let's go into our, there we go. So we got all that selected back there. Yeah, that's fine. We can leave all that because it's all hidden by hair. It's going to need to be one to the head anyway. So this looks pretty good. The selection set. That all depends on the angle of how you have the head tilted back anyway. Let's see, is this one selected? It is. Okay, that's fine. So we want to put all this to the head. So select head. 1. Good to go. Let's do this other arm. Save your file. Jeez. All right, let's save this as 19. Hopefully you've been saving before this, but you always want to save often. So we'll do this as not rig. We'll do this as like skinning. So let's call it skin. And then we'll do actually 01. So 001. Yeah, that'll be good. Because then we'll know 18 is where we left off, or if we want to start again, or if we just want to get our base rig layout without any skinning or anything. And then this will be the beginning of our skinning. So let's just do save as. Let's save it again as number 2, and then from there we just keep clicking save to make sure we save our file. I don't do the iterative save. I just do I just change every now and then. So like my 002 save will be like, we'll do like this whole other arm. I'll save it as 002 again, and then probably do torso, still 02, and then once we're done with that, I'll do 03, and then we'll start doing the polishing from there. That's how I like to save. But I click save, you know, Control S, Control S, Control S a few times while I'm working, so at least I know I have it saved, as opposed to every single time you save, it gives it another number. I think Maya allows you to do that. I just don't have my setup like that. That's how you'll get like, you got 100 saves. You don't need all that, because once you go back, you're going to be like, well, what did I do with this save? That's pointless. It's overkill is what it is. Being a little too cautious. All right. We're going to make our selection set. We're doing the same thing we did on this hand that we did on the right side. But we just got to make sure we pick left. This is our left hand now that we're working on. So that looks like everything. So left was up top. So this is our index finger. 1. All right, there's our index middle. I'm gonna drink some water right quick. Hopefully you're finding this to be relatively easy. Again, if this isn't making sense to you, by all means, follow along without doing it first, so you can just watch and see what I'm doing, see where my button clicks are, and see where I am plotting the vertices out as far as like what joint they're going to, and then watch it again while you're actually doing the work on your end. So then it's just as a guide to help follow along. Sometimes it's good when watching videos to just watch them first. I know when I watch tutorials, I'll watch them all the way first, especially if it's like something brand new, like content wise, and then I'll try to do it. If you try to do it while you're watching it that first time, it's going to take 3 times as long for you to even get through the content, because you're trying to take in so much information at once and retain it, So make sure you select everything you want to put on this joint. And then this just goes faster as you get more used to it. This is our middle finger. Again, I'm just taking what we've already done, selecting the vertices that I believe should be on the joint that should control them, and we are giving them influence of the joint, the desired joint. And so this is our middle finger. Our proximal. So this is our middle finger proximal. Now we're going to our ring finger. See how much faster it's going by? It's going by really quick for me. So ring finger. And working with the extremities first is just a good way of organization visually, so you know what you've been working on, where you are with it, instead of just being like, oh, let me start with the torso and go out. You're gonna feel like it's gonna take a long time to get stuff, but if you work your way in and you know things are where you want them to be, it's gonna be so much easier and faster. So efficiency is huge when it comes to how long it takes for you to do something, and then there builds the speed. And that'll help set you apart from like a bunch of other people because of how you even approach the issue, which is important. So ring proximal, yes. All right, now it's onto the pinky. Check your selection. Pinky middle. All right, we're almost about to move on to the thumb. All right, onto the thumb. Make sure you double check your selection. Thumb is up here at the top. Oh yeah, we wanted to add this row. All right, that's going to be our thumb proximal. And might as well just add this back into it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I think that's what we had on the other hand. We'll leave that how it is for now. We'll put that to our thumb metacarpal. Now let's work on our hand. Make sure you get this first row of segments a part of the wrist, but we'll smooth that out as we get to the next part. I think we want to get this row 2 just for now. And these, I think we discussed. We'll blend these back into it once we get to that point. But for right now, we want to add them to hand. I think we added these to the hand too. All right. I think that's everything. All right, this goes to your left hand. Now we just move our way up the arm. Nice. All right. Let's keep going. We know we're going to stop right here. So we just want to get the rest of this. Looks like everything. Oh, there's one. Make sure you just double check your work. It only takes a second to do that as opposed to the minutes and maybe hours at the end when you're trying to figure out why stuff's not working right. So left forearm, 1. Let's do our 50-50 right quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's it. And we're going to do, it is upper arm 1, lower arm 0.5. You can do that in any order, but that's just what I'm choosing to do right now. We're selecting the last part of the upper arm. Okay. Then we need to go up, I think, 2 more, 3 more, 2.5 more. So we want to grab this stuff. Oh. Clicking too fast. I want to get all these underneath the armpit too. They should go up for now with the upper arm, and then we'll blend the other stuff later. All right, there we go. Let's double check our work. Make sure this is all the verts. This has all the verts selected that we want. It looks good. All right, so that goes to our upper arm L. Now we just need to work on the spine. So it's so much easier when you see the spine moving. It's a lot easier to put down what you want to do with it. So it looks like the front, this belly area right here, I believe we made our controller for our pelvis to stop right above the panty line. So that looks like that'll be a part of spine 1. Um, I kind of don't want to touch the torso because it might mess up. Oh crap! Forgot to put breastbones in there. Um, we can go back in and add joints, which is not a problem. So I guess I'll be showing how to do that as well. Right now, we'll just make the chest where we don't have any undulation or movement on it. With how we do the skinning, but we need to do that for the chest and the actual butt, so we can have a little bit of motion on the butt joints as well. Didn't think about that, but it will show you how you can maintain your weights that we have set for it, and then we add our joint to it when we modify the rig. It'll be good to go. We could also do that outside of this, but no, we want to make it a part of the rig. So when we do our selection sets for the rig, we have it. We don't want to just have extra joints on the outside. So, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So let's see. Let's see what the neck is at. It's an incline. Let's go to our side view. Yeah. And we want to grab all of this right here. And go back and see if we have oh, it didn't select everything. All right, so we have 2 neck controls. We want this and this one to be to 2, or neck 1. We want these vertices to go to neck 1. So we're gonna have to visualize where the next pivot is, or next vertex is. All right, we're going to say that this is where we want to stop for that one. And we'll say this is neck 2. That's all the way down here in your head. Neck 1. 1. And we'll say neck 2 is going to be this row and the row above it. That's going to be neck 2. Go back to wireframe so you can see where these verts are going. And just follow the segment with your eye. And you should be good to go. You can see what connects to what in this viewport. Oh man, I feel my beard growing. I'm not gonna scratch it. It's such a weird tingly feeling when you feel the hair moving on your face. I don't want to scratch it though. It goes away on its own, that feeling. Plus it helps you with your tolerance of feeling like you gotta scratch your face. All right. So this row we want, all right, it's right here. The next one is right here. All right. So now what I just did was I was just looking through these wire meshes to make sure I was selecting everything. But once it's selected, you can kind of visualize and see how the ring around the neck is looking. So everything's selected right now. And we want this to be on neck 2. So sometimes you got to go into wireframe mode just so you can see where the segments are connecting. And that's all I did just now. Put that to neck 2. Everything should be good to go. I think the torso is going to be blended pretty well, and because we've gone in and made it where we worked from the extremities going inward, the only thing on the torso is going to be torso stuff, which is awesome. So we don't have to worry about, oh, arm is pulling the torso and this and that. It's all been zeroed out. The only thing that I can think of is that the torso could be pulling stuff from the arm. So let's just look at it and see. Nope, it's all spine stuff. Yep, it's upper arm and clavicle stuff. So what we will do is we will go in and we will add some weighted influences to this. Instead of, I'm gonna take our top off right now, instead of just letting it happen, because then what we're gonna see is it's gonna start to stretch all weird. We don't want to deal with that. All right, so let's save our file, go back to object mode, save, and then I want to save this as a different one since we're working on the torso. Save as, and we'll do this as number 3. Let's just look and see where our joints are in relation to this. So we're going to go to our wireframe. So see, we have a joint right here. So we're going to want, I'm in my front view right now. I'm going to my front view. Let me hide this mesh because it's getting in the way. H, selected an H in your outliner. So if we look here, we'll see we have a joint right here. And that is going to be our spine 1. So we actually can make it where a few of these segments right here are spine 1, spine 2, and then spine 3 is going to be this upper torso part, which doesn't really move that much anyway, because when you think about your rib cage, you can't, that's all one piece. You know, you can't bend your rib cage, you know, over. You know, you're just gonna start after your diaphragm. There's gonna be another vertebrae in the back that you can start from that point on, and then that all kind of can curve. But from your rib cage, wherever that diaphragm, sternum kind of area is at, up, that's all solid. That's not bending. So this should be pretty straightforward. But what this shows us is that this row that it falls on and the row above it is what we want to grab. And we're going to want to blend the bottom row, but that's when we do the blending, so we don't have to worry about that right now. So let's go back to our vertices. And we want this row. And so let's go to show, let's hide our joints again so we can start selecting stuff. So we want this row right here. This full row and the one above it. Yep, the one above it. That's going to go to our spine 1. See, it's the pelvis right now. So we're going to do spine 1 for that. All right, and so the next one's above that. So this one, spine 2. Let's turn our joints back on again. We can do one more. This was going to be a 50-50 anyway. We'll just select it. It's going to be this row, but we want to hide our joints again. All right, and we want to add that one to be our spine 2 as well. Everything else is going to be spine 3. So let's just start grabbing all this extra. See how it does in native space though. All right, so as you can see, it's deselecting and selecting. We're going to want to go in now and just start selecting stuff manually. You can still select like this. You just need to make sure there's nothing behind it you're deselecting. This is also good practice for visualizing your mesh in wireframe in 3D. Get you more acclimated to knowing how the topology is laid out for your character and how you need to make your best choices for the selection. Because if you're not using the same model, you still got to make these choices, but it's going to be for whatever your model is. So you're going to have to learn what the best selection set of verts are. I'm just manually going and selecting the verts right now. Ooh, undo. I think I double clicked or something. And then it just selects everything and you're like, oh man. Let me go back here. Sorry about that. So what I was doing was I'll go back and do it again, not a problem. If you go back to your spine, go back to your spine right here. We turn these to spine 2. What I was talking about was if you go back to show your joints, look at where your joint location is at. This is one of our joint locations right here. We selected this row of verts and this row of verts, and then we put it to our spine 1. Then we went up to this row of verts and this row of verts right here. And that's to our spine 2. So spine 1, spine 2. And then we went up one more right underneath the third spine. So we actually added this one to our spine 2 as well. And now what I'm doing is making my selection set to get, you know, the breasts, the back, the chest, all the way to where the clavicle bone is at. And that's going to be all spine 3. And so that's what we're working on right now. If you go to, I can even show you. It's pretty cool. And this is the first time I'm showing, you know, these buttons over here. I don't really use them that much, but if we go to our spine 1, these buttons, one of these buttons, I believe, show vertices influenced by the selected joint in the current selection. Boop. Oh crap. That's not what I want to do. So let's do spine 1 again. Spine 1. What does it say that again? It says show vertices influenced by selected joint. What is this one? Show vertices influenced by selected joint in the list. There you go. So because we haven't added these to the spine 3 yet, they're going to be spine 1 because they were influenced a little bit by spine 1. So you can see these are the 2 rows that we selected. So select your 2 rows, select 1, and then boom, 1. So if you go to select spine 2, all these up here are selected with it as well because this is what we're working on to break up into spine 3. But as you can see, spine 2 is 1, 2, and then 3. So it's these 3 right here. So select those, go to your spine 2 and then click 1. So yeah, I apologize for leaving it on the other screen. But I'm not going back and editing these videos, so I just showed you how to do what it was that you were watching my face for. But yeah, good to go. So now we're on spine 3, and we can actually hide our joints. Let me go back and see where spine 3 is at. Yeah, so right here for spine 3. So let's hide these joints. We don't need these joints. But if we do go here and we go spine 3 and we select, we'll see these are all on spine 3, which is awesome. So that's good. Ooh, you see there's a back of an arm when we didn't have one. This needs to be on our left upper arm. So that's a good way of looking at that. And then 1. So now go to our spine 3 and select. You see our clavicles aren't really defined in here yet. But we need to do that. So there's our spine 3. Let's select spine 3 and click 1. So that's good. Click spine 2. So see, this is all only spine 2 and spine 1. You can do this with all these on this list. So it is good that I'm able to show you. But that's what we did for our selection set. All right. We do want to add some clavicle in there, but it'll be easier it'll be easier once we move the clavicle around. But for now, let's just add something in there for clavicle. So let's go to our spine 3, select, and then I think I want to add, because we're going to do fall off anyway. Let's add something. All right. Let's look at our mesh. Yeah, let's look where our clavicles are at. That's important. So it looks like if we take from here to here, so if we take this, 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 we're going to have to definitely blend that. And then take these verts that go around here. These are all going to go to our clavicle. And then we'll just stop in the back a little bit, like here. We want to go down here too, but yeah, there's going to be some fall off. Yeah, so let's do it like that to start. This will be blended too, but that's going to be weighted in between both the right and the left. So this is our right clavicle. So you want to scroll down to the R clavicle and hit 1. So let's do that same thing on the other side. We're saying it's this one, this one. I think we went down towards the middle of the back of the, I think it's the scapula. I think that's where we went to. I don't think we did these. We probably do want to do this though. So we'll add that to it as well. And it's going to be our left clavicle. Let's go back to our right clavicle and look and see what we selected. Yeah, let's add this row 2. All right, so now if we select our right clavicle and select, we have all of these selected. All right, good. That's pretty good. So now we need to work on our range of motion. We're gonna leave the clothes off because once we start moving everything around, it's not gonna be on there. But we can go in and skin up the clothes. I don't want to do that yet because I want to add those other joints, and those are gonna get influenced by those new joints too. Okay. So we should save this. Object mode, file save. So before we move forward, we can actually go back and do edit setup and add those joints in there. And I think we're going to do that now. I think we're going to just go and do that now. So what we want to do is we want to save this as a new number. So number 4. We always have it. I think it's going to pull our skin weights from it too. Not sure. I think it will though. Let's see up here. If there's a thing, we got to save it first. Yeah, remove influences, mirror weights. I don't really use this that much, only because, you know, I just don't want to mess up anything. Maybe it will or won't work. So yeah, let's export our skin weights. Female base mesh, yeah. So let's do, this is the correct file name. Everything should be saved in your location of where you're saving your file by default. So let's just do export weights. And it contains invalid characters, so maybe this is buggy and it doesn't work. Let's finish the process and then go back and add those, because I do know when you go back to after you build your rig, well, let's just test it and see. Screw it. All right, we got everything saved. We can always come back to 4. So we have this saved already. Just save it again just to be sure. Let's save it as 5 just in case things mess up. So save an extra one as backup. So we're on our 5th version of this file. You may be on version 10 or 20 if you save in a different way. But now let's go back to edit setup. See if this works. All right. Let's go to, we want to add a joint. We want to add 4 more joints. So let's click joint. And we want this to be to spine 3. Now you may not want to do this if you're using a male character or what have you, or you may be using a character where you're like, oh, I want to be able to get the pecs when he's running to move up and down, you know, like that. But just bear with me. We're gonna do spine 3 as our parent, and we want this to be breasts. L create. All right, and I want this to be, there we go, joint breast L. I want this to be a sphere, and the shape is a sphere as well. All right, and then we're gonna left, so it's this side. So we're gonna move this up to where it is, and I want it to be roughly the same size as the breast itself. So let's go back into our layer, and I want to hide the torso. So let's just put the torso in this layer and hide it. And here's our sphere that we had. Let's move this forward. And what you want to do is you just want to match the same size of the boob to it. so it fits nicely in there. And then you want to change. So like, if you look at your clavicle going down towards the nipple, like it has this angle to it. If you put your pinky on your nipple and then your index finger on your clavicle, that's the angle you want it to be at. Because when you start moving everything, yeah, it can go up and down, but that's how you want everything to move. You want it to have, because when it starts to rotate, it only rotates so much, and it is based off of how you can get your angles this way. And then like it rarely goes out. Like for breast, it goes out a lot because when you lay down, it kind of pushes in if they're natural boobs. And then they rarely flip down unless you physically push them down, like to pull them down. So you want to make sure your angle is right. You don't want it to just have your axes like straight up and down like this. It's not gonna rotate correctly. So you gotta be mindful of that. So we will have it where I think we're doing X is down. So we're gonna want X to go out of the nipple, I think. So we're gonna want to rotate this. Oh wait, where's our? There we go. We're gonna want to rotate this way, and X is going out of the nipple. Yep, just like that. So now when you rotate that, it'll be at a nice pivot right here. So you can get some nice circle motion from like movement, running, and all that stuff. You just want to be centered as best as possible. That's a big controller. Let's look and see what other controller types we got. We might want to do that so it'd be less invasive of everything. Yeah, I think we want to turn it back. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, let's keep it a circle. That's gonna be nice. Let's look at sphere again. That'd be easier to read though. I'm trying to think what would be the best thing to select. So that's why I'm sitting here in silence. I'm thinking. I think that I think that's too big for a controller for it. Let's leave it as a circle. All right, done. Leave it as a circle. All right, so now we need to make another one. And we can, why is there a key on there? Let me delete that. That's not good. There shouldn't be keys on any of these. Okay, good. Yeah, if you got keys on any of these things, delete that. You can end up messing up everything. Now we're gonna make a new one. We wanna save this. So save as, let's save this as rig 19. Since that's what it is. So let's say there's rig 19. It just may have retained our scan data in it, but we can hit this to bake our offsets. And let's just do that later then. Let's do another joint. We want this to go to our spine 3. Breasts are creates. So again, we can go back to selecting this node using our snippet tool, grabbing the values, and then we're going to just make a, you know, the opposite version of it. Okay, and so again, let's open this. Let's change this to be a sphere, and the circles that we're going to keep. And now let's go in and add our values to it. So let's just put the same values first. 8.696, negative 8.816, 151.57, 0.947, negative 18.203, negative 62.936. And our global scale was 8.7. All right, so that's in the same spot. So what we're going to do is move this over like we did when we were working on the face. We're going to move it, rotate, rotate, move it back, up. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that these move the same. So let's get it in the proper placement first, and then we'll worry about like, do our X and Y's move the same? When we rotate, we want it to be the same. We can rotate it out. So up and out is probably what we want to focus on. And then it moving on X the same is what we want to focus on. So we probably want to keep it how it is right here because it'll just move identically. But let's do the reverse numbers on this. So this will be a negative 8.696. This is still a negative, so this will be a negative 8.816. This should be 151.57 still. This rotation, this X rotation is greatly different. Which looks like it's incorrect to me. So this one is a 0.947. There we go. And then this should still be a negative 18.203 and a negative 62.936. Ooh, that's not right. So let's undo that one. So if that's negative 113, let me rotate it some more. I think it's going to be the difference of it then. Yeah, of 180. So if we take our calculator and we do 180 minus 62.936, we get 117. So this should be a negative 117.064. Yep, looks correct. It looks the same. Probably can move that over a little bit more. Looks like the nipple line right there. Let me move this over a little bit more so it's evenly centered. That looks better. And that was on my Y. So that means Oh, look at that. It's exactly the same. 875 for both. Let me recapture that on my snippet tool. So if you want to recapture the new set of values, let's go back here. And so this should be negative 8.775 and then a negative 8.775. That looks the same. Good. Ooh, always get the double check your numbers. You see this changed. So you want to put that back at 0.947. And you want to change this back to negative 18.203. Are those rotations identical? Let's look and see. They do not look like they are because of where they meet right here. Unless there's something off, they do look the same. I was trying to make sure that things are even before moving forward. 17,604, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so let's save. Now, I don't know, do I want to put butt joints in here? Let's look at her butt and see if we could put some butt joints if we need to. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to. That's going to be overkill. I think it's going to be overkill. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary. All right. I wonder why the rotation looks like it's... All right, let's look at both of these together. Our Z up is fine. Rotation, that's fine. That's fine. I think this is fine, however, because we're gonna do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and you can just offset it instead of them like clapping like that every time you do it. Which means these won't rotate the same way either because it'll be reversed. Okay, I think that's fine. All right, so let's unhide our torso. Let's delete this layer. All right, hopefully it saved our stuff. If not, we can always go back to the other file and just say, screw it, we won't put in breastbones, or figure out a different way than this way. So let's save this. That's saved. All right, so now we'll do our finalized setup again, but before we do that, we need to bake out our offsets for those 2 new joints. So go into the list, you know, they're right here, and then bake offsets. And good to go. They should still look correct. Yep. All right, and now we just do finalize setup again. Let's save it again. After we did our, there we go. Now let's do finalize setup. Continue, because we've already done that. Skin weight geometry, no. Oh, look, here it is. Skin weights found for these meshes. Boop. Yep. Import weights. Boop. We should be good to go. The only thing we need to do now is weight the breast to the breast joints. Let's double check our work and see. So now we can save this. Save scene as. And now we want to save this as skin number 6 before we start doing anything. Okay. Hope you guys have been able to, and gals, everyone else watching, have been able to follow along. And let's go to vertices. All right, it still has our last selection of the vertex right there. So our vertex of the clavicle vertices right there. Let's see if on our list our new joints are here. Since we brought in the mesh, the one we had, maybe it didn't have that as a part of it. It doesn't. I don't see the breast ones on here. Oh man, I don't think that's right. Hold on, let me look. They're not on there. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Object mode. If we go back to here, do we have, let's show our joints. Do we have joints? Oh, we do have joints. All right, great. Then for some reason it just didn't add them to it. So hopefully they are added to it. How am I supposed to do this then? Let's see if they're not on there for me to select. Or am I just missing it? Yeah, they can't be all of them because none of we didn't do anything to the face. None of the face ones are on there though. I'm still looking to see if I select. If I select that, and I want to put it to the breast joint, I might have to do this manually. What's this one? Target selection filter. Yeah, I don't think it knows about it. All right, so we got to figure this out. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. Let's go back here. You know what? Let's go actually to the component editor for default. General editors. So go to Windows, General Editors, Component Editor, Smooth Skin Mesh. And you want to do Show All Columns. Layout. Auto updates, layouts, show selected columns, show all columns. Why female based form mesh? Why can't I put this to this? Oh, here we go. Let's see. There has to be something up here. Hammer weights tool. Fix skin weights. Smooth bind tool. Let's click on this. There we go. There we go. Female base mesh weight wizard. Hopefully this doesn't mess up anything. So let's do 3. And then we should find it on this list. What's weird because I would be able to. Wait. Let's close this. Let's close this before we do that because that might mess up something. Let's try to go to. Let's try one more thing. Let's go to rigging. And let's go to skin. And let's go to our paint weights tool, which is going to be here in our attribute, our tool settings. Every joint should be in here now. So let's see if they exist in here. And if they do, then we can just paint the weights for the breastbone this way. Oh man, I don't think they do. They do not. I think it's because we used the skin weights that we already did. All right, so we will have to do this. So let's click this. But we did save our exported weights, so that's fine. So let's click this. Click our base mesh. Skinnable geo. Let's go back to 3. Let's see if the breasts are in here. Yep, right there. So there's two things we can probably try. Let's only select these two because we want to add them to it and see what that does. Or we may have to select everything over and do just a smooth bind over everything. And then we'll have to just re-import in our skin weight so we don't have to do it all over. So let's try the first option. Let's just pick these two and then smooth bind. Now let's see if that broke stuff. So let's go back. We can go back out of object mode, hit W to get back our cursor, our correct gizmo. Vertices. Oh, looks like everything is still on there. So let's see. So if we do spine 1 and do that selection, yep, everything's still there. Spine 2, everything's still there. Spine 3, everything's still there outside of our clavicle. And see, we're not going to want this to be spine 3. We're going to want that to either be upper arm or clavicle. So let's fix that. Let's make these go to upper arm 1, 2, 3, and then it was these. Let's put that to our upper arm. That is our right upper arm. These are all out of order now. That's so silly. Upper arm right 1. And then let's select our spine 3 again. All right, and then we want to do the same thing over on the other side. It's pretty much this and this. And we want to do that on our upper arm L. Right. Yep, that's our upper arm L. 1. All right. So let's go to our spine 3. That looks better. Now let's go to our breastbone and let's just select the joint. Does it still not show up in here? I thought it did. Let's see. It would be joint. Oh man, it's still not showing up in here. Huh. So that did not work. That did not work. Here, let me try something else. Joint breast R from spine 3. Vertex. I'm looking for the joint. It's not in here. It's still not in here. All right. So fix skin weights. Let's see. I don't think that does anything. Smooth behind tool. Oh man, what is this? Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let's see. Did it mess up the mesh? It did not. It did. It did. All right, so there's a female base mesh. And there's one. Oh, okay, crap. All right, so look at this one. Why are there two? Here, let's go back. Let's back up. Let's back up. Did it think I wanted to do it completely over? It might have deleted. It might have just brought in a new one. Let's look and see if this one just has. Oh man, it's all red. This doesn't look good. Oh, wait. So let's select this. Select that. That doesn't look right. Object mode. So what we can do is we can go back to when we first had the rig on there. Have these joints on there. Because we use the reference, base reference. So let's do vertice. Oh man. I want to open this all over. Let's open up 6 again. I think when I did the fixed weights, it kind of messed up something. So let's open this file over. File, open. Skin 6, open. Don't save. Let's see if there's two meshes down here. There's not. All right, good. So something happened at that point. So let's go back to our vertex mode. Select. And now there's no joints. There's nothing showing up in here. Skin 6. Is it just busted? I don't get it. We can probably add those joints back later and just go back to where we were with our 5. Did the breast joints even in this one? Let me see. Show joints. Yes, they are. Vertex. let's close that, and then let's reopen edit. I think it's edit rig is what we want to do. Ooh, no, that's not what we want to do, man. Not rig creator either. Animation tools. Oh man. All right, this is not. That's not working. That's not working. That's not working. All right, let's open up. That's good that a problem came up. Let's open up. Is this number 19? Rig 19. That's with the joints in it. Let's open up. Let's open up 6 again. I want to see what is going on with that. It may not bring our editor. It did not. Let's do this. Let's recreator. Is it gonna know? It does know. Okay, so recreator is what we want to bring in. It looks like it had everything on it. Yeah, it has everything on it right here. All right, all right, all right. All right. We're back in business. So I opened up the file we had the breast joints in it. Then I selected a mesh instead of going right to the vertex mode. And it looks like everything is still in here. What I wanted to do was open up our file from the beginning, make sure we have the one with the joints on it, redo the whole thing, not reskin it, but redo the joints that we want to have on it. See, because this doesn't have any of the face joints on it either. And then just go from there. Copy skin weights. Move influence tools. I don't understand why it's not showing that though. I mean, it could be a bug. Go back to object mode. Let's see what happens if we rotate. Oops, if we rotate, that's not what I want to do. There we go, back to 1. All right. That just changes 1, 2, and 3 is what I pressed, and you saw it. The mesh change. It changes the tessellation of it, make it smoother. To show you it in a different way. But I didn't want to do that, so I put it back on 1. I think it made it like a NURBS object or something, or what it looks like NURBS view. So let's go back. Joints. Let's see if we can select this joint and rotate. Let's turn back on our mesh. Now let's see, yeah, that doesn't do anything. Skin joints. If we select another joint, let's see if that does anything. Joint. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. So let's do our spine 3. It doesn't have this extra thing on it saved that we did before. That's fine. I really want to see about putting this onto the rig correctly. So even if we go here, look, there's all the other joints. It might be in here. It's in here for paint weights. All right. 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 So all is good. Let's go back. All right. Let's go back. Let's go back. All right. So let's do the change we had before. So I think I've figured it out. So let's go back to here. Let's put this back to we're going to do this to our upper arm joints. Hide your joints again, just to make sure that we don't, so we don't overwrite them. So we want to do this and this, and we wanted this to be to our upper arm. This is our upper arm right for 1. And then let's go back to our spine 3, so we can do our selection. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. And we want this to be to upper arm left 1. Okay. Now what we want to do is, I want to close those other windows I had open on the side, which was my calculator. Not hiding anything for you guys. It was my calculator and my snippet tool. We want to, build our rig now. I think we're at a good point where we were going to leave things how they were. But instead of doing that, let's do our range of motion first before we build our rig, because when you build your rig, you're pretty much done. The way you're going to have to go back and edit this skinning is going to be totally different than what we're doing right now. So let's actually do some range of motion stuff and try to make sure things look how we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some keys. Let's turn our joints back on. Let's turn on, we're going to be going back and forth between turn the mesh visible and not visible. So the first thing we're going to do is let's take the arms and we want to set a key, and then let's go up 10 frames. Let's set another key. Let's turn on our mesh. Let's rotate the arms up 90 degrees. Reset that key. That looks pretty good how that is right now. If anything, we just blend a little bit of this, to make this not be so harsh, but that's not that big of a deal right now. Let's do the same thing with the legs. Let's go back to frame 0. Let's set a key. Let's go to frame 10, set a key, rotate these. Ooh, see how that looks? We gotta change that. Set a key. Oh man, does that mean something's messed up? Let's see. Do this again. Do that. Do that. Tell me it reset on itself. I don't think it did, but we'll see. Okay, it did. Good. So see where we have to do our blending. It, pretty much doing your range of motion will pretty much tell you where you need to address your paint weights, which is awesome. Set a key. Let's do the same thing for upper arms. Go to frame 10 and set a key and move the arms up. Set a key. From frame 10 on, let's go to frame 20. Let's go to frame 10 actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a key on our clavicles. So they're zeroed out. And then at 20, we want to go raise our clavicles up. And on 30, we want to put them back down. Okay. for, let's take the spines. 1, 2, 3. Let's put a key on 30. And let's go to 40. Let's bend our spines until we're touching our back all the way to our butts. And then let's go back to 50 and go back the other way. Let's go like this so we can see a nice curve there, and then go to 60. And go down even more. Boobs to pelvis. That way we can get it, so we can see how we can make this back look smooth. Let's copy our frames at 30. Copy. Let's put those at 70. What we're creating right now is our range of motion file. It's not really a file. It's going to be a set of poses that we have here. We're going to paste this here so we can get that back up to being straight. And let's do some neck motion now. So neck 1, neck 2, and the head. All right. Let's set a key on 70, and then on 80, let's rotate that back. And then 90, let's go forward. And 100, let's go forward more, even more. Okay. And let's go back to 70, and we're going to do a copy and paste it on 110. What we also want to do here is let's do our spines one more time. And we're going to do our side to side on our spines. So key, and then go to 120. And we want to rotate to the left, and then 130. We're going to rotate to the right. And you want to rotate it as extreme as you want to go with your range of motion for your character. Everybody's character is different. Maybe you want your character to be a little bit more stiff, but rotate it to what the extreme is that you want it to be. That'll give you the best values that you're going to set for your blending, so you don't underblend or overblend. This key, delete, should be on 120. All right. So that's pretty good range of motion. The other thing we want to do is we can go back to the legs and change some things on the legs. So let's go back to both. We're going to copy this key. Copy. Put that on 20. Paste. On 30. We're going to move these legs forward. And on 40, I want to bring them back down. And on 50, make them go all the way back. And then we want to bring them back on 60, copy frame 0, and then on 60, put them back at their default. Now we want to mess with the ankles. So let's select both ankles. Key at 60, and then on 70, we want to rotate the ankles down. 80, we want to rotate the ankles up. And then we want to bring them back to their 0 points. So go and copy your frame 60 and put that on your frame 90. Okay. What else? We could manipulate the breast joint right now, but let's wait on that. All right. So it looks like everything is good, other than doing fists for the fingers and hands and stuff. Let's do that. I'm trying to find the frame. So 70, if you go to frame 70, if you've been setting your keys the same as I have, you can go back in here and we can try to set up what it looks like when a fist is made. So set a key on 70, go to 80. I can start rotating, probably want to rotate it one at a time. You know what? Let's do the hands separately. Control Z, Control Z. Let's focus on these bigger parts of the body first, and then we'll come back and do the hands. All right, so that's our range of motion for now. Let's save this as number 7 for our skin. Now let's go back to paint weights. Turn joints back off. Go to paint weights. We need to select our character, object mode. Select your character first and then click on paint weights. There you go. So now to show you your character as like a blank canvas so you can paint weights on there. As you scrub, you still have all the stuff that you just added for your range of motion. So I really want to do paint weights only so we can get the breast joints on there. So let's look at that first. With the paint weights tool, you can press and hold B and you can change the size of your brush, the diameter of it. So what we're going to do is we're in paint weights. Let's go down to breast and we are going to look at our right breast joint. And we want to just paint that. And so we want our value to be 100 that we're doing. We're painting, paint, add, and we want it to be the value of 100 right off the bat. Opacity is 100. Okay, so now if we take this and we do this, now this is starting to paint the influence of the breast joint. And we really want to get this whole circle. But we do want to have a fall off, right? So I'm just going around and painting, just clicking and holding. We may want more fall off, but for now, we'll leave it like that, and we can always come back to it and polish it more. So for left, we'll do left breast, and then did that save it? Let's go back to our joint and see if that actually is going to manipulate the joint before we go and do the rest of this. If not, we may have to still go back to like number 18, add those joints, bake everything down, and then do our mesh over. All right. So joints, turn on our joints. select this, rotate. Nope, it's not influencing it. There's no other mesh in here like we saw in the other file. That's not even rotating. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right. So let's grab, this is what we're gonna do. Don't worry about saving that. Let's go back to our rig 19 file where we redid the, don't save. We're going back to our rig 19 file where we added our joints, our breast joints in here. Yep. We're going to reset this up as if it's the first time we did it. So edit setup. So this is where we are. We're back to where this is. We should have both our breasts in here. We do. Breast L, breast R. Okay. Bake offsets. Let's bake offsets for everything. Select all bake offsets. All right. Close that. Resave over 19. Now we know we have everything is baked offsets, which is fine. There's no additional meshes in here. It's just our main meshes that we have referenced. That's fine. Just double checking. And now we want to do finalize setup. Finalize setup. Continue. No. Skin weights found for these meshes. Let's do skip because we need to, we can bring it in after the fact. I'm pretty sure we can. So we do yes, and we want to do our base mesh for everything. And I think our breast joints are in here. They are. So do that. Do this to 3 because we're adding those joints. So maybe we didn't need to press bring in the skin weight data because it doesn't show up in there. So then we'll do smooth bind. Now everything should be on there. Let's check and make sure. So if we scroll down, all these are back in order. Yep, there's all our joints. And there's our breasts. All right, cool. So that's what we wanted to do. So let's save this. Save as. And then this is going to be our skin 7 file. This is the latest file. So we'll do save as over this. Okay. We're now in the skin game. Let's look at, is it still saving? All right, there we go. Let's look at importing our skin weights. Import skin weights. Oops. Import skin weights. Oh man. Or we have our file saved, so it's not a big deal. Let's see if it saved our skin weights somewhere. Where I don't know. All right, where will those skin weights be? Let's see. It was on ARTv2 projects sample female, not right. Nope. Prototype, nope. geo weights. That's not today's date, so that's not correct. Let's see what's in core. Oh, 410, look at that. Pickers. No, that's not. 410. So, no, that's not right. Plugin projects, documentation. Okay, so that's not gonna work like that. So let's look and see. This should all be back to what it was. Joints. Right now I'm trying to problem solve. We want to put breast joints on the character. We did it after the fact. So instead of just doing the whole thing over, I'm just trying to problem solve and see the best way we can retain what we just did. I mean, it didn't take that long to do it. We could do it over. We already know what we did, but let's see. Let's just see. These are the type of choices you'd have to make it at the office at work, and you'd be like, oh man, I gotta start over. Yeah, see, that did not retain our skinning. So we should be able to bring in our skin weights. So let's copy skin weights, export skin weights, import skin weights. Did I not export the skin weights before? Let's open up another myosine. Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is open up a myosine, open up the one where we have everything skinned. Export those skin weights, go to another file, import those skin weights, and then we should be good to go. So let's do an open. So skin weights, we did number 5. Wait, number 6. No, number 5, number 5. Number 5 is what we want. Open. Don't save. I think number 5 is gonna have it where that clavicle thing was, but we can fix that. That's not a problem. So yeah, so this one is before the breast joints, I believe. Yep. Okay, perfect. That's what we want. And we also want to recreator. All right, perfect. So what we wanted, close that. Select this, and we want to this doesn't look like it's refreshed correctly. All right, but it's working, so that's good. We want to export our skin weights. Object mode. There we go. Export skin weights. File name. Export weights. Oh yeah, that's why we can do it. We couldn't export it before. So let's do this. Let's do it the other way. So if we go to rigging, skin, we can go to copy vertex weights, copy skin weights. skin. We can do, if we go to skin, you can copy skin weights. Copy skin weights. Oh, really? Must be a source. This is skin. Copy vertex weights. Let's see if we do vertex weighting. So if we do vertex, we do this. Joints. Vertex. Or maybe we just need to bring the other, reference the other mesh in, copy, paste, and then that's it. But so we go to skin. We can go to copy vertex widths. Copy vertex width. Too many things selected. All right. So now that we know it's number 5, we need to bring in number 5. So to do that, let's close this. Let's reference it into our main scene and see if we can do a copy paste there that way. All right, so let's reference editor. We're going to bring in our number 5 skin file. We're going to reference that in. All right, let's go to our outliner. All right, they both should be in here. All right, there's number 5. So we want to take our skin here and then take our skin there, and we want to copy skin weights. All right. All right, so now let's undo our reference, remove our reference. Our file is still clean. Let's move our character's leg around to see if it copied over to skin weights. It did. So that's what we want to do. Do we still have control over things here? Do we still have our breastbone? We do. All right, that's what we want to do. So that's problem solving. So we have it. Let's save this file just in case. So save as. This is going to be our skin number 7 file. Again, this has our updated skinning. We're talking about saving the last 3 hours worth of work here. So this is what you do at work, because you got to go. You're going to take the time to do this, to learn how to problem solve, learn how to do this, because you may not have 3 hours. You may not have the time to go back and do that 3 hours over. And this is where you're growing. This is where you're learning. All the stuff that I'm showing you right now, I'm not editing this stuff out. This is stuff you deal with, And so we're still going down that path. I need to make sure I can skin to the breastbone. If we can, then everything's good. We didn't lose any work. We added what we wanted. We're still on track. We're good to go. So what I need to do now is we want to go right breast, left breast. All right. No influence vertices for that joint. Okay. Let's go to our vertex. Ooh. Let's look at our stuff. All right, good. That's good. Let's save that. Spine 1. It's looking good. That looks the same. Spine 2. All right, spine 3. All right, we knew the shoulders are going to be the same. I already brought that up to you. Breast R. Okay, so let's try this. Let's select some verts. This is our right breast. Let's select these verts right here. Let's go back to this mode. just want to get this whole ring first. That's fine. All right, so we want to do these actually to breast R1. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That is what we're looking for to happen. All right. So let's get this on the left one. Looking good. Let's go back and change our spine 3 since we know we want to change that, and let's get that saved so that's in our file. There's our spine 3. We need to put that to the clavicle. We saw what it looks like when you put the arm up, it just brings it in. So let's put that to the clavicle, and we can always change it. So let's go back to wireframe. We know we need this and this. And we're going to say that's going to go to this is our right clavicle. 1. Let's go back to our spine 3. And this should actually be 1. So I don't know why I did the 19.999. All right, so we know we want to change this right here, these ones, and this one, and it's going to go to our left clavicle. And we're back on our spine 3. All right, that's looking good. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, it's a good start. We know where we are with this. Let's save this now. Object mode. I want to save it with this turned back on and that turned off. All right, and so we want to do save over number 7 again. Another cool thing, so we can use our other tool, if we don't want to do the range of motion again, we can copy the range of motion animation, put it in our studio library, take it out of our studio library, and put it on this character, and you don't have to redo that over. So let's do that. But let's first see if the breasts actually rotate. So we want to show joints are showed. Do this, select this, select this. Go back to where you can see the mesh, rotate. There you go. So we need to blend this so it blends better and it's smoother. But our joints work for it, so that's awesome. It looks like there's something messed up on the left one, so let's look at that right quick. Yeah, so left breast, select. Yeah, we missed 2 joints, or 2 vertices. Let's actually play around. Well, we're gonna do our blending. I guess we can just do our blending, and then we can just mess around with that with our blending too. Again, let's save this again. And let's get our animation off, let's blend it, and then we should be good. Save. And then we can at least get our joints blended a little bit better. Let's open up another Maya. I think that was 6 that we saved that in, I hope. Now we're just gonna open up Maya to see if we can get back to our file that we had that had the range of motion saved on it. I think I saved it. If not, we can just recreate it, but let's check and see. So I think it's gonna be number 6 because we already saved over number 7. So let's see if number 6 had the, I don't think it did though, because I think we were just saving everything on 7. which is fine. And we can just go back and we can just do our range of motion over. Yep. All right. So we can close this. It's not on there. All right. So let's do our range of motion over real quick. We can do it as we go. So let's work on the legs. And now what we're going to be working on is blending the joints. So we're going to work on the legs. We're going to do the knee, the ankle, and the hips, and the ball of the feet for one of our legs. So you can pick whichever leg you want to work with. Let's go and set some keys. Our joints are good. Let's see. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to set a key here. We want to rotate up like that. Oops, not on 0. Let's go out like 15 frames. Let's go out 15 frames. So we get a nice range of motion when we go back. So we set a key. Select this, the knee, put it down, set a key. It'd be nice to set a key on 0 first. So set a key on that for 0, and then set a key on the ankle too while we're at it. And then go to 15. Set a key. So what we did was we selected all the joints on frame 0, set a key for everything in its base pose. So select, set a key. Go to frame 15, rotate the thigh up, set a key, rotate the knee down, set a key, rotate the ankle down, set a key. Right? So this is what you'll get. So now from there, let's set at frame 30. Let's put the leg back. Let's put this hyperextend a little bit. Move it back a little bit more. And let's put the foot up. Then on frame 50, let's copy, frame, joint, and joint. So yeah, all 3 of our joints in. We're going to do right-click, copy, and then go on 50, right-click, paste. And now what we want to do is we're going to copy the base key. So now the leg back down to be normal. We're going to go out to frame 70. And we just want to select the thigh, and we want to move the thigh out. Just like that. All right. Once we have that, set a key. And then go select 0 again, and we're going to put this copied key on frame 80. Paste. There we go. All right. Good. So we're going to start working on this. And I don't think we need to use paint weights for it. I think because of the topology, we can just use the vertex editor. We can use paint weights if we need to, but for now, we're not going to use it. So let's go to our first pose. Or you know what? Crap, we might use it because it's going to make this a lot easier right here on the hips. But on the knees, I don't think it's necessary. So that's why, use paint weight where necessary. All right, so select this. Let's go to our vertices. Go to our calf R, select what's there. This should really be a 1. So yeah, see this didn't get done correctly. So let's hide our joints again so we don't have selection issues. There should be 1 to the thigh, to calf R. Boop. There you go. This one looks pretty good up here. Reason why I don't think we need to use paint tools because it's going to make things just get real messy. When we can make this, we can blend this on our own to make it look nice. So let's select the first 3 on the kneecap at the bottom. So you'll have the center of the kneecap and then the vertices on the left and the right. And then what we can do is, it's all to the calf right now. We know we need to blend it to the thigh R. So select the thigh R. And then what we can do is, this is pretty cool. So you can use the preset values. You can go up by increments, or you can set it to what you think it's going to be. So we can do 0.1. What would that look like? Oh, that's cool. Let's do a 0.25. That's cool. All right. That looks pretty good. We need to do also the top one. So same thing. Select, select, select. And we want this to go to the calf. So we're going to select calf R. And then we're going to do a 0.25. And it brings the knee forward. That looks pretty good. Oh, now we have some issues right here with some, this is going to cause some Z fighting and things don't look correct. This is going to be to thigh. We want to take this and do calf R, and it's a 0.1, 0.25, right? There's also a vertice back here. You can't see it. I see it's there because I see how the segment goes. If you go back to here, you can start to see that that's the vertice I'm talking about. All right, so we want to also look at what that is. This could be fine how it is right here. If there was more topology, you'd be able to get a nice crease right there. But let's see what we can do because we don't want it to mess up anything. This is right now to the calf, so let's go to the thigh. Let's do a 0.1. Let's do a 0.25. That looks pretty good. That's going to give us a better seam right here, but that looks a lot better than if we left it overlapping, because you can see this face would have been Z-fighting, and it would have looked pretty bad once the lighting hit it and it was so close to itself. Same thing for the inside of the leg. Let's do this. So this one's to the thigh. This one to go to the calf. Let's do a 0.1, 0.25. There's more verts in here now. So this one is one of the 50-50 verts. Let's see, what other verts do we have that we can mess with? We got this one. Let's modify this one first. So this one is to the calf. We want to go to the thigh. So you select your thigh and you do 0.1, 0.25, 0.5, 0.25. Let's leave that at 0.25, and now let's do something with this one. This one is tricky, so we need to mess around with it and see. So should it be more to the thigh or to the calf? I think it should be more to the calf probably. Let's do a 0.1, 2, 5, 0.75. Ew, that looks really bad. And you see how it has that harsh lighting on it. So that's not right. So let's leave that at 0.5. What about the thigh? Should we go up more? So let's do 0.5, 0.75. Nope, it's going to look the same. It's going to look the same. So we can do 0.5. That could be an issue with where the vertices lay on the model. But what else can we do? What we can do is we can change the influence. As best we can. .75. Let's see, what is, there's another vertice down here. This right here. Let's see if we can bring that up. So we want this to go to the calf. Let's see, 0.1, 0.25. It's looking better. 0.25, 0.5. If 0.25 is better. Looks like there's more down there we can mess with. Now see, if you painted this would just become a mess, and you'd be like, ugh, you still would have to go in and do this if you want to make it look the best you could. I know this is very like tedious, but this is the cleanest way of making this look good. So for this, it is a 0.5, 0.5. Let's see if we can. You can change increments of 10. That actually looks better. do 0.05, 05. That looks better. What about this one? What can we do with this? To give it a little bit more breathing room down there. Doesn't look bad. That looks actually a lot cleaner. Let's see if we can move this one back. That looks pretty good for the kneecap. And then the back of the calf. Let's look at the ankle right quick. So we want to change some of these right here. Maybe that one too, a little bit. All right, so this is on the foot, and we want to go from the foot to the calf for, let's see. So we did that with, this is incremental, so we did it in increments of 0.05 instead of doing the harsh, 0.1, 0.25, 0.5. We want to take, let's take these back ones right here. Yeah, these 4. Let's put that to the foot, R. All right, so now let's actually take this too and do the same thing with that. See if we can get a little bit of something out there. No, I don't like how that's doing it. Maybe we can go back to here. Let's do the front. This needs to come down. So foot. This needs to come up. So calf. And what I'm doing is I'm just nudging the weight around right now. The vertex influences. Trying to make these lines look a little bit smoother. So we want this to go to foot. And a lot of this has to do with where your ankle placement is actually at. The ankle looks like it's pretty high because I did not scale the foot down. But it also depends at the angle of how far you bring the foot to when you start to bend it. This doesn't look that bad right there. Let's look at the thigh. I don't know if this can go up any further. Let's see what this does. Let's bring this bridge up a little bit more. So this will go to calf, to calf. Let's go to foot. Try this one on foot. Try this one on foot. Put this one back on calf. Let's get a little bit of this too. Calf R. All right, let's go to 15. Yeah, but this position will be better if your angle is down further. So the angle for this character should be down a little bit further. So I should have scaled the foot to be a little bit more. If this is the foot, this is the ankle, heel. If this is the heel going up into the calf, and this is the foot, I should have brought the actual foot controller to be a little bit more down. So the ankle is here. The pivot right now is like up here. It's like up in this area, right? Still on the lower shin area as opposed to being a little bit down further. So that's why the bend looks the way it does like this. But so that's how you would address that. So on this, I think I want to paint weights. It's still not that difficult to do without painting weights. But let's paint some weights on here and see if we get this to start to be a little bit smoother. So go back to object mode, click over to paint weights, and we are going to be working on the right leg. The other thing we're working on is the pelvis. So we're going to need the pelvis, which is under torso. So let's put this on like frame 10. Go back to right leg and go to thigh R. And we want this to be like a, not 1, but let's do like a 0.25. So we can do some light painting. All right. You can also hold down shift and it does like it evens it out, which is pretty cool. evens the values out. All right, so let's go to 15. That doesn't look too bad right here on the back anyway. But for this top part, we're gonna wanna, there's not a lot of topology here, but we're gonna wanna change how that looks. So if we keep it going to the back like that. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, it doesn't look too crazy. Let's do this at a 0.35. Right. And see, that's the beauty of painting weights. Like you're painting them on that way. It would take forever to do that part by hand, for the front at least. So that bend doesn't look bad. That bend it's still a little harsh because of how much it brings it in. So let's go to the torso and to the pelvis. And let's bring it down. And we want to be more to the torso and pelvis. So let's do 0.5. I'll do that. We are on the pelvis, front torso. Okay. No, I kind of like how I was going before. So let's take this back down to 2.5. And we're going our right leg again. You can try to smooth this out too down here with the paint waste, but no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work that well. All right, let's look at our model. Go back to this. Go back to that. Go back to this. That's not bad. Wait, let's do our outer hip right quick. 70. We're doing pain weights for this for sure. we are doing thigh again. I want this to be more to the pelvis. So pelvis. Right now, I'm just going back and forth on these controls to smooth this out, which is the same thing you're going to be doing to get this to be smooth. I'm going back and forth between my right leg thigh and my torso pelvis to get this to be working the way I want. Looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like with the leg bent up though, because I did have to just change some stuff on it. That doesn't look bad. At 15, it still looks pretty smooth. It actually made it where this is not as harsh anymore, but it thins out the leg so much. It's almost like you just want to do the rest of the top of the leg too, a little bit more. So let's see, what was that, 70? Yeah. Towards the pelvis. And this is a 0.1 right here, so it's very little influence, but it's something, and it'll definitely help out with how the leg is moving. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's go back and front. Now see, this is where you would use like another deformer or something to make this feel better. That's outside of what this general mesh is. bit more volume on here. So it doesn't look so caved in. That's looking better. Yeah, you don't want it to be too pinched. That just looks wrong, you know. So that looks better. It's a little, let me see, 1.5. I'm trying to get this knot out of right here. Oh, this die. There we go. It's a little too angular. That's better. All right. Done with that side. Now we can do the other side. We could mirror. Everything is symmetrical for that. This is a mirror skin weights. Let's save our file first. Save. Let's go back to our verts. And let's see if we can do our mirror skin weights. We just pressed it. Now, did it mirror it? Not sure. I never really used that. So I'm just trying to see like if it is doing what we want. So let's just select some weights and do mirror skin weights. Ooh, it's thinking. It did something. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this full leg up into here. And let's do mirror skin weights. So we'll see if that works. And the way we're going to test that is we're going to move the left leg around, doing the same general motion we did for the right leg, and see if that works. Still thinking, so hopefully it's still working. We did save our file. I'm not really concerned about it. But with what we're doing with the paint weights, you know, you don't want to do that twice over. And this will be a good way of doing it if it works. If it doesn't work, then we need to reopen this file and we need to do the other leg. So we'll see. I think it's still working. Yeah, it's still working. So just want to give it a second. Let it do its thing. It's a lot of verts that we selected. I mean, it's not that dense, but it's still a lot because it's probably just going through each vert and putting the same value for the opposite leg. So there is a little bit of wait time that we're noticing if you do use this. So I would say use it sparingly if possible. There we go. Or make smaller selection sets of verts. So let's see if this worked. And we'll see right away once we start keying our joints. So let's just select the left leg's joints. Let's set a key. Let's go out 15 frames. Let's rotate up. It did not save anything. It did not mirror anything. So we just have to do that work over, which is fine. For the other leg, not do it over completely, but we just have to do it for the other leg now. All right, so that is the beginning of doing the skin weight stuff, the skin weight tools. Let's actually finish the legs. So what we'll do is we'll finish the legs, and in the next video we'll go on to another part of the body and then, you know, finish it up. So let's set our key. So we're gonna set a key here, down, set a key on our thigh, come to our ankle, set a key on our ankle. And then on 30, we want to set a key on there. Let's take, easier to take 0, copy it, put it on 30, paste it, and then rotate it back. Hyperextend it a little bit. Yeah. Bring the foot forward a little bit more. And at 50, we're back to normal. Okay, so let's go right to 15. Let's address our knee first. And we set these, we look at these are, oh man, wait, maybe you can mirror weights inside of here. We see skin. There should be mirror skin weights right here. Okay, yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. So we still have our whole leg selected. Let's select a little bit more of that leg. To be honest, let's do one. Yeah, let's do that. That looks good. Let's actually select these two manually. Just to be sure. And I think I might be able to do it through here instead of how his tool does it, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to. Yeah, because I don't think it knows to go to which way to which way. Oh man, we could probably scoot that back down so it's a smoother line. But let's just see if this works. So, all right, we'll do skin. Now let's try mirror skin weights. And we want to go from mirror across YZ. Yeah, mirror across the YZ axis. And then direction positive to negative, or we're going negative to positive, because this is our on the negative side of the axes, or on the graph. And let's try mirror. Doop. That did not mirror anything. Let's go back here. Let's try one more time. Let's do mirror skin weights. So we want to do positive, negative. apply. Oh man, that broke it. So that's not what we want to do. That's not what we want to do. So we want to go, we do want to go back this way. So it does work. So let's see, let's do apply. Oh man, it doesn't go the other way though. That's weird. I mean, all right, let's see. Maybe if we go YZ mirror across. Nope. Mirror weights is not letting us mirror weights. All right, well, just got to do it by hand. Yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Okay. So we had set this to, can we even go back to the skin? I don't think it's going to let us. All right, let's do torso, object mode. Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's do the kneecap. Looks like the kneecap was 0.25. So we can do the same thing over. Let's hide our joints. We do a 0.25. To the left thigh. All right. And this one was a 0.25. To the left calf. All right. His outer leg. I'm doing the nudge tool again. To address this. Now on inner knee, I remember we had to go down and nudge a little bit further. So for this one, we're going to do left calf. Nudge that one up a little bit. And then we went down into the calf a little bit more. Oh, I think it was on this one. And we're going to nudge that back up again. Yeah. Looks like there's one more down here. Let's see. Where was that? Is it this? Yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Let's do left thigh. There we go. see. I think that one might be pulled in a little too much. Yeah, that one. There we go. All right. That looks good. All right, so we got the kneecap. Let's work on this, and then we'll do paint weights on the. So do the balls of the feet too, but we'll do that later. So this one's a 0.2. That's all is a 0.2. It's not. All right, so from here, here, all the way around to here is a 0.2. All right, so foot, this is the left foot and left calf. I'm gonna do a 0.2. And then for the next one up, it was 0.3. Is it 0.3 all the way around? No. So from here, 0.3. It's a ball. Oh, sorry, yawning in the mic, man. Save your file. Just saved it right now. So what am I looking at right here? 1, 2, 3. It's 0.3. The calf. Ooh, that's why that looks like that. So that's to the foot. Okay. And then what was this one? 1875 for the foot. Okay. And then the front, 6'4". Okay. What is this one? 5'5" for the calf. I'm just trying to match these up. So I'm going back and forth looking. I'm looking at the foot that I've already worked on and trying to make sure that I have some consistency. So calf is 0.35. So that's a 1. Oops, wrong one. 0. Left calf. So that's calf is 1. That's the next one up. 3.5 for the calf. So I was off. So it's 3.5 for the calf. I think I went in. Calf is a 0.1. I think I brought that down a little bit. 0.4 for the calf. Okay, let's paint some weights. So, save your file. Go back to object mode. Turn on our joints. I think we missed a pose. 70, yeah. So we're gonna rotate this out. Man, time flies when you're skinning, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It goes by way too fast. All right, so we're gonna get the butt shaped a little bit better, and then we're ending the video, and then we'll come back and we'll start working on the rest of the video. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. Wait, it sounds weird. All right. All right, paint weights. I'm like, what are we doing? All right, we're painting weights. We are looking at leg L, and torso, pelvis. So we want to do 0.25 to start, and we want to take our thigh L. We want to just start blending that in. good. I'm holding down shift and doing this. It does like an average of the skinning. All right, so now we're gonna work on what we did for this top part of the leg. Right here. Let's go out to let's go out to the other 70, I think is what it was. Let's start painting on this. I think that helped us out a lot too. Pelvis. And again, I'm going back between the pelvis and the thigh and just smoothing this out. Let me go back down. I think I was on 1. Let's do 1.5. Getting a little bit, just a little bit influencing here because it'll smooth out this thigh when it's up in this rotation. Let's go back to the thigh, see if this does anything more to it. Let's do 0.1. Oof. Let's do 0.2. That looks different. Mm. 2.1. I kind of like what it's doing there, but it keeps almost like the like the bone is still there. Is what it's doing to it. It's kind of cool looking. like that part of it. Let me see. Don't want that to be doing that. Thigh, point 1. Torso, pelvis. Thigh. Okay. So I went torso to try to get this to be a little bit more level. Pelvis. It looks like I did, yep, I did that. But it was not that strong. 0.5. Save your file. Let's go back out to 70. See if we can add a little bit more. A little bit more to this. Let's do 0.30. Left leg, thigh. Let's go back to torso, pelvis. Same thing happened on this one, on the other leg, so I need to bring that down, which means I need it to be influenced more. And then leg, thigh. Yeah, I know we bring it up. I want this to be influenced by the thigh more, less. Pelvis, less. that looks better. So you gotta do some experimentation with stuff. Make it look how you want it. That looks better though. All right. All right. So we've covered a lot. You saw me come into some trouble areas, and then I addressed those trouble areas right in front of you. It's the same thing you would be doing if you were doing this for a living. You would not just straight up start completely over. You need to problem solve it because it'll help you down the line in the future when you are working towards similar problems or things that may be happening when you're skinning characters just in general. What we were able to do was we got the full character. Let me save my file. We got the full character skinned, but what we're doing now is we're going in and polishing that skinning, and we started with polishing the legs of the skinning. So if you look at the character as they're bending their legs, you can see that it's smooth in the hip area, it's smooth in the knee area, it's smooth in the ankle area. We didn't do the ball of the feet yet. We'll do that in the next video. You can see how the shape is retained on the buttocks when it's moved back. And you can see how we also retain the shape of the side of the hips when we move the hips out. So yeah, so that's the beginning of polishing the skinning for our character. What we're gonna do in the next video, there's gonna probably be a part 2 and a part 3. Part 2, we're gonna focus on the arms and the torso, and part 3, we will focus on setting up the face and getting the face to be skinned to the actual rig. Right now, the face is all skinned to the head joint. So I'll see you guys next time. The process is still the same if you want to go forward and start doing the other parts on your own. But the next phase that I'll have is going to be working with the other parts of the body outside of the legs. All right. Hope you guys learned something new. I hope you didn't get too discouraged when you saw I ran into a problem. Maybe you ran into that same problem if you're using the same character. But we learned how to problem solve it. We saw what worked and what didn't. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about what we should and should not do moving forward. But you would have only gotten to that point if you tried. So hope you learned something new. Thank you very much.